There is this very specific type of corporate dread
Hmm.
that I think we all just universally accept at this point.
Oh, absolutely. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. It happens right around like 2:0 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Yep, always a Tuesday.
You open a brand new presentation file for a meeting you have on Thursday, and you are just staring at that glaringly white, completely blank slide.
And it just stares right back at you.
It really does. And suddenly, like 20 minutes have completely vanished, and you haven't typed a single word of substance.
No, of course not. You're just moving a text box half an inch to the left.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then deciding it looked better where it was, so you move it half an inch back to the right.
It is honestly the ultimate friction point in any professional workflow. I mean, you usually have the ideas in your head.
Right.
You probably have the raw data sitting in a spreadsheet somewhere or, a long-winded document from a colleague.
Which you already read.
Exactly. But the actual act of translating all that raw material into a cohesive visual narrative, that is a massive roadblock.
It eats up entire afternoons. But our mission for this deep dive today is to explore how we might actually be able to permanently kill that blank page for you.
Which is a bold claim, but we have the tools now.
We do. We're going to look at two massive artificial intelligence updates that just rolled out for the platforms we literally use every single day.
Yeah, we are doing a real head-to-head comparison here of two distinct routes you can take to build your slides moving forward.
The heavy hitters?
The heavy hitters, exactly. So on one side, we have Microsoft Copilot's new agentic capabilities in PowerPoint.
Which became generally available on April 22, 2026, right?
Correct. And then on the other side, we have Google's native presentation builder using Gemini inside Google Slides, which just started its extended rollout on June 29th, 2026.
Okay, but before we get into all the shiny new features, I feel like we really need to set some calm, honest expectations here.
We absolutely do. The hype is out of control.
It really is. Because the hype around this technology can be incredibly misleading. If you are listening to this, hoping that you can just, type one sentence into a magical box.
Make me a deck.
Right. Make me a deck. And the AI will just hand you a flawless, ready-to-present deck that you can take straight into a board meeting without even looking at it.
Yeah.
You're going to be disappointed.
Highly disappointed. I mean, neither of these tools is going to do that for you.
No.
That is just not what they are built to do right now. What they do is provide a first draft.
A draft.
Yes. They get you from 0 to 60, so you aren't staring at a blank screen. The philosophy you really have to adopt here is, well, it's simple. AI drafts, human edits.
I love that. AI drafts, human edits. It takes all the pressure off the tool to be perfect, and it completely removes the pressure on you to start from scratch.
Exactly. It's a partnership.
So let's talk about what AI making slides actually means in 2026. Because, this is a huge leap from where we were even 12 months ago.
Oh, it's night and day.
We aren't just talking about a chatbot spitting out a wall of text that you then have to, manually copy and paste onto a slide.
You're right. And Microsoft actually addresses this evolution directly when they talk about their development process. When they first shipped early versions of Copilot, the foundational AI models simply weren't powerful enough to command the actual applications.
They couldn't push the buttons.
Exactly. They were what we might call passive partners. You could ask the AI a question, and it would give you an answer in a little chat window.
Sure.
But if you asked it to manipulate the canvas of your document to actually build something, it would fail.
It couldn't physically do the grunt work for you.
Right. But over the last year, these foundation models have made massive, massive leaps in reasoning and, crucially, instruction following.
Okay.
Now, Copilot can take multi-step app-native actions directly on your slides. It doesn't lose the plot halfway through.
Wow.
And Google is doing the exact same thing with Gemini. When Gemini builds a deck, it isn't just generating a flat, unchangeable image of a slide that you're stuck with.
Which is what some of those early AI design tools did.
Yes, but this is generating entirely native layouts. Every single text box, every shape, every chart, it all remains fully editable in the Google Slides ecosystem, just as if you had built it yourself.
Okay, I think an analogy might help visualize this shift for everyone, because it is a big shift.
Go for it.
The old way, the passive chatbot way, was kind of like texting a friend for a recipe.
Okay.
They send you the instructions, which is helpful, but you still have to walk into the kitchen, find the ingredients, chop the onions, and cook the meal yourself.
Still a lot of work.
Right. But this new agentic era, it's like having a sous chef actually walk into your kitchen, pull out the cutting board, and chop the onions for you.
That is exactly it.
You are still the head chef.
Hmm.
You still have to taste it and decide if it needs, more salt. But the tedious prep work is completely done.
That captures the dynamic perfectly. You're stepping into the director's chair. Your job shifts from manually constructing the input to, well, managing and refining the output.
So let's walk down the first route. Let's look at how Google is approaching this with Gemini inside Google Slides.
Okay, let's do it.
How does this cloud-connected assistant actually take your raw materials and build a deck from scratch?
Well, Google leans heavily into the advantage of its ecosystem. They refer to this process as deep content grounding.
Deep content ground.
Yeah, when you open up Google Slides, you open the Gemini side panel. You don't just type a prompt out of thin air and hope for the best. You can actually attach multiple reference files directly from your Google Drive into the prompt line.
Oh, wow. Which means I could point the AI to a massive, 50-page quarterly report document and maybe a separate spreadsheet of sales figures and just tell it to build a deck based on those specific files.
That is the exact use case. Gemini parses those specific attached documents to construct the factual foundation of your presentation.
That's amazing.
But it goes a step further with smart asset suggestions. As you are typing out your prompt, Gemini is proactively scanning your recent cloud activity.
Wait, really?
Yeah. It will suggest relevant files, emails, or even chat threads that you might want to include to enrich the context of the deck.
That sounds incredibly powerful, but it also raises a massive red flag for me.
The hallucination risk.
Exactly. If I feed an AI a dense 50-page report, there is a very real risk it hallucinates a terrible structure. It might pull the completely wrong data points or miss the main narrative entirely.
Sure, that's always a fear with AI.
I do not want to spend 2 hours untangling a mess of slides that make no logical sense.
Yeah.
At that point, I might as well have just built it myself from scratch.
That is a very valid concern, and it's something Google actually anticipated. They implemented a crucial guardrail to prevent that exact scenario.
Oh, thank goodness. What is it?
Gemini does not just instantly spit out 20 rendered slides and hope you like them.
Okay.
Before it spends a single second generating graphics or formatting text boxes, it presents you with a comprehensive presentation outline right there in the side panel.
Ah, so it acts like a blueprint. I get to redline the plan before the house is built.
Precisely. You review the textual outline based on your prompt and your files. You can improve it, modify it, drag and drop the points to reorder them.
Oh, that's great.
Or you can completely rewrite the structural plan before it draws anything on the canvas.
That gives you so much control.
And to make it even more collaborative, the assistant will ask you contextual follow-up questions.
Like what?
It might ask you to clarify the overall tone you want, like, is this formal or conversational? It might ask who the core audience is, or how visually dense the information on each slide should be.
It's checking its work with you before it commits. That is a huge safety net for the human editing part of our rule.
Exactly. It's a partnership.
Now, Gemini's superpower is clearly its ability to pull from that surrounding cloud ecosystem. But that raises a question about actual slide construction.
Oh.
Because Google Slides is relatively simple. But PowerPoint has decades of complex formatting legacy. It's a beast.
Yeah.
How does Microsoft Copilot handle that deeper level of application mechanics?
Microsoft approaches this by focusing heavily on the deep richness of the PowerPoint application itself. Copilot isn't just treating PowerPoint like a blank word processor.
Right.
It understands the native mechanics of the software. It understands how animations work, how transitions function, and, the precision required for corporate visual storytelling.
So it's not just slapping text on a background.
No, Copilot is designed to be a master of format and structure, manipulating the specific tools within PowerPoint.
I hear that, and I know Microsoft has been pushing that narrative really hard, but I have to challenge this a bit.
Fair enough.
Copilot understands animations. Sounds fantastic in a press release.
Yeah.
But out in the wild, are people actually using this at work? Or is it just a novelty gimmick that people try once, realize it's super clunky, and abandon?
It's a fair question, but Microsoft's internal data actually backs up the adoption rate.
Really?
Yeah. Since this new default agentic experience rolled out, they've seen significant shifts across their entire suite. Word saw a 52% increase in engagement. Excel was up 67%.
Oh.
But looking specifically at PowerPoint, since the April update, there has been an 11% increase in tries per user per week.
Okay, so the initial curiosity is there. People are clicking the button.
Yes, but the more telling metric is retention. They are seeing a 36% increase in new user retention.
Oh, wow. That's significant.
It is. People aren't just trying it once and leaving. They're actually coming back to it for their next presentation. Additionally, there's a 25% increase in user satisfaction, which they measure by the thumbs up rate on the generated outputs.
That 36% increase in retention is really the metric that matters. I mean, you simply do not retain users on a software tool if it makes their job harder.
Exactly.
You only come back if it genuinely saves you time, which brings me to what is arguably the biggest fear of anyone making slides for work.
Let me guess. Presenting a deck that looks like it belongs to a completely different company.
Yes, because nothing screams, I outsourced this to a machine louder than a Frankenstein deck with, rogue fonts and off-brand colors.
Oh, the dreaded mismatched typography and random shades of blue. It is a dead giveaway.
It's the worst. So how do these two tools solve the branding problem? Because if the AI gives me a great structural draft, but I still have to spend 2 hours manually clicking on every single pie chart to change the hex code to match my company's specific corporate branding, I haven't saved any time at all.
You'd just be doing different busy work.
Exactly.
Well, both tools tackle this, but their mechanical approaches differ quite a bit. With Gemini and Google Slides, you can attach an existing presentation deck as a master-style reference right in your initial prompt.
Oh, so I just upload a previous presentation that I know looks perfect and tell it, match that.
Exactly. The layout engine analyzes that reference template. It acts sort of like a stencil, forcing the newly generated content to trace the exact formatting rules of your old deck.
That is so smart.
It maps the fonts, the asset positioning, and the visual color palette so the new slides seamlessly match your brand's visual identity.
That is incredibly practical. And what about Microsoft? Because, as we said, PowerPoint templates are notoriously complex beasts.
They are. Microsoft tackles this using what they call brand kits. It's a highly systematic approach.
Okay, how does that work?
When you give Copilot a prompt, it performs a three-part synthesis. First, it analyzes your natural language prompt to understand what you want to say.
Right.
Second, it analyzes the specific objects and design elements coded into your organization's templates. Third, it analyzes the sample slides within that template. It takes all three of those data streams and automatically maps your brand, voice, tone, style, and imagery to the generated output.
Which means the days of manually copying and pasting hex codes onto individual shapes are over, provided the template is built right.
Yes.
But I imagine built right is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence.
It is doing all of the heavy lifting. Seriously, this is perhaps the most vital part of understanding how to use PowerPoint in this new era.
Okay, lay it on me.
Well, Copilot is not magic. It requires a meticulously clean foundation. And that foundation is your PowerPoint template. Copilot primarily learns how to format by looking at your sample slides.
Okay.
It needs to see representative examples that reflect how your organization actually presents content in the real world.
So if my company template only has, 2 slide designs, one generic title slide and one basic bullet point slide, Copilot is going to have a very hard time figuring out how to make a compelling 20-slide deck.
It will completely fail to make a compelling deck. It will fall back to those basic layouts, which results in very generic, uninspired output.
Right, because it doesn't know what else to do.
Exactly. You have to feed it a variety of structural examples. The documentation emphasizes a concept called content density.
Content density.
Yeah. You need to show Copilot examples of light density layouts, maybe a slide with just a title, a subtitle, and generous white space.
Makes sense.
You need to show it medium density layouts, and crucially, you need to show it heavy density layouts.
Like what? Slides with minimal white space, dense text blocks, multi-column layouts, and detailed charts.
Yes, all of that. Because if it generates a slide with 3 paragraphs of text, but the AI has only ever seen templates with 3 words on them, it literally won't know how to format all that text gracefully.
It will just smash it onto the screen.
Right. It needs to understand the visual hierarchy of your specific brand, and it learns this entirely from the slide master. Any elements or slide-level definitions placed on the slide master are inherited by the slide layouts below it. Copilot reads that inheritance.
Okay, I have a very specific practical question about this.
Shoot.
Because I know how people actually build PowerPoint templates when they're in a rush.
Oh, boy.
Let's say I go into my slide master, and instead of doing it the official way, I just, draw a standard text box, and I type the words, put picture here, inside that text box, hoping the AI will read my instructions. Will Copilot understand what I want?
No. That is a massive misconception, and the documentation explicitly warns against doing exactly that.
Wait, really? It won't work.
It won't work. Users must use actual placeholders inserted via the slide master. You have to navigate to insert placeholder and specifically choose text or picture or chart from the software's menu.
So you cannot just hack it with a normal text box.
You can't. And the reason comes down to how the AI actually reads the file. Copilot does not read the text inside a placeholder as semantic guidance.
What do you mean?
It doesn't read the English words, put picture here, and think, I should insert an image. It completely ignores those words.
Oh, wow.
Instead, it looks at the underlying code of that placeholder. It reads the placeholder semantic type, its specific X and Y position on the slide, and its dimensions.
So what does it use the text for?
The only thing Copilot uses the text inside a placeholder for is to understand what font styling you want applied.
That is such a critical aha moment. The AI isn't reading your sticky notes to itself. It is reading the underlying code of the object.
Exactly. It's reading machine logic, not human logic.
Are there other mechanical gotchas that we need to know about?
Yes, negative space is a big one. You need to ensure the negative space of objects, especially the invisible bounding boxes around text, do not overlap with other objects on the slide master.
Oh, because that confuses it.
Yeah, overlapping elements confuse the AI's ability to read the spatial relationships, which prevents it from generating clean output. Furthermore, you must use theme definitions for colors and fonts.
Right.
Copilot learns from the overarching theme data, not from you manually highlighting a single word and changing its color to red on a sample slide.
It's almost ironic. For years, people have been hacking PowerPoint, throwing text boxes wherever they want, ignoring the slide master entirely.
Oh, completely.
And now, the AI is essentially forcing us to use PowerPoint the exact way it was originally designed to be used in the first place. We have to build a clean structural architecture if we expect the AI to build a clean house.
Good data in, good data out. The AI is only as smart as the template it is resting on.
This all sounds incredibly powerful, but we need to bring this back to reality for a second.
Time for the fine print.
Time for the fine print. It is time for a calm, honest look at the barriers to entry here, because neither of these agentic features is universally free. If you want this level of automation, you are hitting a paywall.
That is very true. Let's break down the availability. If you want to use the new Gemini native presentation builder inside Google Slides, it requires specific licensing.
Okay, what do I need?
You need a Google Workspace Business Standard or Plus plan, an Enterprise Standard or Plus plan, or if you are a consumer, you need the Google AI Pro or Ultra package.
Got it. And as of this launch, it is exclusively in English, correct?
Yes, English only at the moment. Now, looking at Microsoft Copilot and PowerPoint, that requires a dedicated Microsoft 365 Copilot license or Microsoft 365 Premium Personal or Family subscription.
Okay, so both have their tiers.
Yeah.
But I do want to point out a very critical deadline for you Google Workspace users out there. Because Google is doing an extended rollout of this feature, they are currently offering a promotional window. Through at least August 1st, 2026, eligible Workspace customers get promotional access to significantly higher usage limits for multi-slide generation.
It's a great trial period. But after that August 1st date, standard per-user usage caps will kick in.
So what happens then?
Well, if you find yourself generating massive decks daily and want to maintain those high computational limits, your organization will need to purchase an additional AI Expanded Access add-on license.
Which means the summer of 2026 is your free-for-all testing period on Google. You have a window to really hammer the tool and see if it fits your workflow before those strict limits apply.
Highly recommend taking advantage of that.
So we've looked at both routes. We've seen how they fundamentally kill the blank page. We know the rules of engagement for setting up our templates. The ultimate question for anyone listening is, which tool should you actually open first?
It's the million-dollar question. And when you synthesize the mechanics of both systems, a core philosophy emerges. The best AI isn't necessarily about which underlying language model is inherently smarter or faster. It is almost entirely about context. Microsoft refers to this concept as work IQ.
Work IQ, I like that.
Yeah, it's the idea of grounding the artificial intelligence in your specific historical work signals so it understands your immediate intent.
Makes sense.
To generate a high-quality draft, the AI needs to know what you are currently working on, who your colleagues are, and what your past deliverables look like.
Which distills down to a very simple, practical takeaway for you. Pick the tool where your files already live.
Exactly.
Do not overcomplicate this by chasing the shiny new feature on a platform you don't use. If your team lives in Google Drive, if your financial data is in Google Sheets, and your research is in Google Docs, Use Gemini.
It can seamlessly read that ecosystem without any friction.
Exactly. But if your company runs on OneDrive, SharePoint, and the Microsoft 365 suite, you need to be using Copilot in PowerPoint. The friction of manually downloading and moving files across different corporate ecosystems completely defeats the time-saving purpose of using the AI in the first place.
That is the most pragmatic framework. Use the engine that is already bolted directly to your data.
Well, we set out on a mission to kill the blank slide, and I think we can confidently say it is dead.
May it rest in peace.
Seriously. Whether you choose the deep cloud integration of Gemini or the deep formatting mastery of Copilot, you are permanently replacing the dread of starting from absolute zero. You are now just editing a fully native, on-brand first draft.
You have officially moved from the role of a manual builder pushing pixels to the role of an editor and director shaping a narrative.
But before we wrap up, looking at how both of these systems actually function raises a fascinating, almost philosophical question.
Oh, I like where this is going.
What is the lingering thought we should leave the listener with today?
Well, if we look closely at the mechanics of both Gemini and Copilot, they rely entirely on scanning your past files, your past templates, and your past brand decks to build your future slides.
Right.
They are quite literally designed to mimic what you and your colleagues have already done.
Yeah.
Which begs the question, if we entirely outsource the initial creation of our presentations to systems trained exclusively on our own past behavior, do we risk wrapping corporate communication in a prominent infinite loop of the status quo?
Wow.
Will our decks just look the exact same forever? Or, by completely removing the friction of formatting and pixel pushing, will this finally free us up to focus purely on telling a more creative, compelling story?
An endless echo chamber of corporate slide design, or the ultimate creative liberation. That is certainly something to chew on the next time you find yourself staring at a blinking cursor on a blank white slide. Until next time, keep exploring.